You know how some people have fans and other people have fans?
For 13 and 19.
There is something deeper to Taylor Swift fandom, something guttural, something instinctual, something so magnetic about her brand, so rooted in identity that it makes people act like this. And I'm not a Swiftie, more on that later, but it makes it even crazier to watch this fan dynamic from the outside. But Taylor Swift isn't the only one who has this kind of impact on her fan base. There's Trump, Lady Gaga, Nike, Disney. I mean, this is mouth-frothing, tattoo-getting fandom. So what is it about these brands that lead to such loyal communities? How can it teach us to build a magnetic personal brand? And what do 9-foot-tall blue guys have to do with any of this? Do you know who I hate the most out of any movie villain ever? Quaritch from Avatar. In the movie, he's the head of the RDA, which is the Earth Force tasked with going to this beautiful planet called Pandora and milking it within an inch of its life for precious resources. Even if it means killing all the local Na'vi people and everything they hold dear. I mean, I hate him. I hate him, I hate him, I hate him. When I got out of this movie, I remember feeling so fired up. I mean, you do not fuck with the Tree of Voices. Not on my watch. And it was weird because it wasn't common for me to feel this way after a movie. It took me a few years to realize why. To be magnetic, you need a Joker to your Batman, a Regina to your Katie, a Drake to your Kendrick. What I'm saying is that you need an enemy. And I'm not talking about the guy who haggled you on Facebook Marketplace for the mirror and then ghosted you when you agreed to his lowball. I mean, he for sure has it coming, but no, not a person. I'm talking about an ideological enemy. The reason I felt so emotionally fired up at Quaritch is because he's not just a guy. He is the embodiment of an ideology. Corporate greed. Quaritch was written to represent this concept, and that is what makes me want to squeeze his veiny little head till it pops. This is how all of the best movie villains are written. Dr. Snow from The Hunger Games represents the ideology of Dr. Snow from The Hunger Games represents the ideology of authoritarianism. Fuck yeah. Gilead and all its upholders from The Handmaid's Tale represent patriarchal oppression. Professor Umbridge from Harry Potter represents bureaucratic evil. She's just behind Quaritch on my hate-o-meter. God, I hate her. We hate them because of what they represent, and that makes us love the people fighting against them even more. So how does all this tie back to Taylor Swift? If you look closely, Taylor Swift has used the exact same strategy in her brand. Taylor's whole career has been built in opposition to an ideological enemy. The cool girl. If you are, like me, not a Swiftie, let me give you the lore. She was bullied in high school for being different.
The whole reason I started writing songs was because I was alone a lot of the time. And, I'd sit there in school and I'd be hearing people like, oh my God, this party we're going to is going to be so awesome on Friday. Everyone's invited except for her over there.
This enemy, the cool girl, has been built into every facet of her branding. She tells this story in interviews.
I got teased a lot and I got made fun of a lot, and I went through periods of time where I didn't have friends.
Girls say things about you behind your back and then backstab you, and it's fun. All that good stuff.
She talks about the concept in her songs, like she wears short skirts, I wear t-shirts, she's cheer captain and I'm on the bleachers. So yeah, Taylor Swift fans are ride or die for her because it's not just about Taylor. It's about being united together against something bigger, something that she has made very sure that she represents. If you love Taylor Swift, you don't just love Taylor Swift. You hate the bullies and the doubters and anyone who made you feel silly for loving what you love or being different. And this is a feeling that we have all had before. On some level, we have all been victimized by the cool girl.
How many of you have ever felt personally victimized by Regina George?
By finding an enemy, Taylor assembled all the people around the world who know this feeling and gave them a place to fit in, together with a common foe. You know what that is? That's a community. That's the difference between a fan base that's lukewarm for you or a fan base that'll get your face tattooed on their face. And every person or brand that people give a shit about use the enemy effect. Trump's enemy is the lamestream media. So if you love Trump, you don't just love Trump, you hate traditional news media outlets. Lady Gaga's enemy is conformity. So you don't just love her, you hate the way that society tries to drum the individuality out of everyone. The best brands use this too. Nike's enemy is apathy. Apathy in athletic excellence, but also apathy in the face of injustice, which we saw when they took a stand with their Colin Kaepernick campaign during BLM. Disney's enemy is growing up, which comes through in the way that they build worlds in their movies with childlike wonder and the kids are always the heroes. When you move through the world with the knowledge that you stand against an enemy, and you let this filter into your actions, the way you speak, your content, and your beliefs, people will be drawn to you. You will become magnetic. But why? What's actually going on here? What's the deeper reason this actually works? When you establish an enemy, it creates an us versus them dynamic. You're a Swiftie or you're not a Swiftie. You're a little monster or you're not a little monster. You're a Nike fan or an Adidas fan. This in-group, out-group identification taps into a deeply rooted human trait, the need to belong. From an evolutionary perspective, back in the old cave days, group affiliation was critical for survival. Being in a group gave you an evolutionary advantage. If we didn't have people around us with the same values helping us hunt and child rear and keep the cave lights on, we would get KO'd by a giant chicken dinosaur. Or whatever was going on back then. These days, our immediate survival is not dependent on group affiliation. We're the ones eating the chicken now. Not the other way around. Not so tough now, huh? Giant chicken dinosaur. But thanks to a little concept called evolutionary lag, we still very much emotionally need to belong to a group. And this becomes even stronger in the face of the underdog phenomenon. When you pit yourself against something bigger, you become the underdog. People love to root for the underdog. Okay, so it all sounds good, right? But how do you find your enemy so you can be magnetic? By the way, if you're finding this interesting, hit subscribe. My mission with this channel is to help you find your thing and stand out and become a category of one, so follow along if you like. But finding your enemy. Well, journaling time. Okay, write a list of all the things you hate most in the world. This is the opposite of gratitude journaling. And get super specific. Like, you know how when you get a haircut and after the haircut, you've got all these tiny little hairs stuck in your clothing and they kind of itch at you all day? Get specific. Now, choose the one on the list that makes you the most mad and identify its underlying theme. So if it's a person, what does that person represent? If it's a thing, what does that thing represent? For example, if you hate those fake finance creators that tell you they made $1 quadrillion in 7 days just to sell you a course, then you hate deception. If you hate those weight control meal services like Light and Easy, you hate restriction. This theme is your enemy. So now you've got your enemy. Now write 3 ways that this enemy is impacting your people. How is it causing pain to them? How is it hurting them? And get angry about this because it's not fair. Now you have your enemy in the way that it's impacting your people's lives. All you have to do is seed this enemy into your branding to become magnetic. Let me know in the comments who your enemy is and hit subscribe if you enjoyed this. I'm going to keep making videos to help you find your thing. Okay, bye.